A very good and happy Thursday morning to everyone out there. Landon here with you to bring you your weather or not forecast, courtesy of On Target. The heat and humidity remain present across the region, folks, but the good news is we do have a little bit of relief on the horizon as we work into this weekend, and even more so of a relief as we roll into the first week of July, and that is good news. However, starting out early this morning, we continue with a similar surface setup. We got this frontal boundary that remains locked up off to our north and west. We got high pressure located down to our south, and that's going to result in another day. This southwesterly flow keeping the hot and oppressive humidity locked in here across the region. Now, as we approach the weekend, we're going to get this front that's going to begin to sag down to the south and east a little bit. This is going to result in higher chances of rain and storms for us beginning on Friday and taking us through the weekend. But we're keeping eyes on a passing cold front during the early days of the new work week that will finally bring a little bit of relief to the table for us. Let's get a look across the region, shall we? We'll kick things off overlooking downtown Bowling Green. D93 Skycam showing a few clouds there, but mostly clear skies overlooking the water tower and Crystal up there atop of Hospital Hill. We can take a look over some other portions of the region, folks, where we have got that mugginess that has settled in, some pop-up storms impacting the region. We've got another round of dense fog impacting certain portions of the Wobbles community. Morgantown Skycam showcasing this had some advection fog rolling in off of the Green River there into downtown Morgantown, aka Funkhauser Hill. That should be lifting out and allowing for partly to mostly sunny skies to exist for yet another day. Let's give you the breakdown of our current conditions. We have got temperatures and dew points right around the mid-70s. We're once again going to be taking highs up between the low and mid-90s this afternoon. And we're going to be looking at triple-digit heat indices once again. That has resulted in the heat advisory being extended through this evening. This has been a broken record pattern, folks, but it is close to coming to an end. That is the good news. Let's jump over here and let's give you the breakdown of what the short-term guidance is looking at in regards to how our weather is going to be behaving here, all right? So we'll give you the breakdown. You can see here looking at the latest heat index. Here we are working throughout this morning. We're working to this afternoon. This is what we've been experiencing. Right around the triple-digit mark. Heat indices should hover right around the 100 to 105 degree mark this afternoon. We roll into the overnight. We take temperatures down to the mid-70s. Then we catapult to right around the 100 degree mark yet again as we roll into our Friday afternoon. Also, with what we've been seeing in the broken record department is the diurnal heating of the day, bringing these sporadic, robust cells that pop up across the region. Again, folks, not everyone is going to be impacted by these, but those of you who have experienced it this week, any storm that develops will drop excessive amounts of rainfall in a short period of time. Lightning and gusty winds could be coming along with that as well. Here we are looking at this afternoon. It'll be sporadic, folks. This isn't exact, so take it with a grain of salt. We lose daytime heating, the activity simmers across the region, and then we work into Friday afternoon, and we are anticipating more coverage of showers and storms. We got a meandering upper low located down off the southeast coast of the U.S. We're going to have a little bit more moisture to work with here, folks, and a few of these cells could become rather strong. Maybe even a few marginally severe storms creeping up here along and east of I-65. Damaging winds would be the primary concern with this, perhaps some instances of large hail. But with that being said, they should remain isolated to widely scattered in nature. Now let's talk about what's going to happen as we roll into the weekend and into the early days of next week, because we're finally going to see somewhat of a pattern change. We have had this monster upper level ridge that has had a complete stranglehold across the eastern tier of the United States. We've experienced numerous days, 6 to 7 days in a row of triple-digit heat indices with this particular heat wave. But keep your eyes on this ridge, folks, as we work throughout today and on into tomorrow. And you can see the ridge begins to break down with troughing and zonal flow working in here from the west. Look, this ridge is being beat down here with the periphery of the ridge now getting very close to our vicinity. We're going to have these little perturbations riding along the periphery of this ridge, and that's going to help to spark off more convection in the form of showers and storms Friday. And then, in particular, look at Saturday and Sunday. On into the early days of next week, the ridge is basically gone, and we get these little short waves tracking just north of the region. This is going to help fire off a better coverage of showers and storms throughout the entirety of the weekend, where we're looking at a 20 to 30% probability of storm chances this afternoon into tomorrow. We're going to be bumping those chances up closer to the 50 to 70% range as we progress throughout the entirety of the weekend. Now, folks, here's where it gets a little bit more important, because we're all wanting that relief, and you can see right here as we roll into Monday and Tuesday, look at the troughing diving in here into the Great Lakes in the Midwest out of Canada. This is going to help escort at the surface a cold front through our vicinity, and that's all going to be a result of this troughing finally drop kicking and breaking the ridge down, and the ridge is back building over here now across the Rocky Mountains. Mirroring this is 18 to 20,000 feet above our head to what's going to be going on at the surface, okay? Here we are looking at Saturday morning, and this front continues to get closer to us here out of the north and west, and with the ridge breaking down, you can see better rain and storm coverage right here across the Commonwealth throughout the entirety of the weekend. Here we are looking at Sunday afternoon and evening, more showers and storm chances. Then we get into Monday, it's going to remain scattered in nature, and then we roll into our Tuesday morning. This cold front is going to be right here on our doorstep, folks. It's going to go on down and drift down to the south and east, and that's finally going to shunt that moisture off. But more importantly, coming in out of northwest flow aloft isn't just lower temperatures, but less humidity, where we've been dealing with highs in the mid-90s with dew points in the mid and upper 70s. We're looking at forecast highs in the Tuesday into Wednesday time frame of next week down into the 80s. But more importantly, taking dew points from the upper 70s down to around the mid-60s is going to result in a much more comfortable environment as we roll into the first day of July. We got a number of festivals and things going on across the region. The world-famous Catfish Festival in Morgantown will be taking place to the 4th per usual. Thunderfest taking place here in the Bowling Green vicinity. And the good news is, it looks like it'll be at least somewhat drier by that point in time. Here we are looking at July 2nd on Wednesday. We look to be mostly dry. High pressure to our north is going to keep a light northerly wind component in here as we roll into the 3rd of July. And most importantly, Independence Day on the 4th of July. Hopefully we can keep these areas of high pressure around to keep a mostly dry forecast intact. So, July 4th celebrations, you got any barbecues planned or other events that you're attending, we won't need a backup indoor plan regarding that. So that is definitely the good news, okay? So we can jump over here now and we can talk about the latest in regards to our short-term model guidance. Continued heat and humidity today into tomorrow. We have a heat advisory in place through 7 p.m. this evening, and hopefully with a bit more cloud cover and a bit more storm chances on Friday, they finally can hold off on extending this on into the final day of the work week. Speaking of the final day of the work week, we were just mentioning it there, but the Storm Prediction Center, as I mentioned yesterday, would not be surprised at all to see them expand this marginal risk of severe weather a bit more west. That has been the case and now encompasses the far eastern tier of the Wobbles community over in Barron and Allen County for a few robust cells that could become strong to marginally severe tomorrow afternoon and evening, resulting in damaging winds, maybe an isolated instance of large hail. Here we are looking at total rainfall amounts. We're looking at roughly 1 to 2 inches of total rainfall that's going to be taking place over the course of the next week. This isn't going to fall all at once, but the bulk of this will be falling Friday afternoon through Tuesday morning of next week, given the pattern whenever the cold front is finally going to work through the region. Here's a full 6-day forecast breakdown for today and tomorrow. Oppressive heat and humidity continue. Highs right around the mid-90s. Triple-digit heat indices is a good bet. pop up, isolated to widely scattered shower and storm chances each afternoon. You can see the higher storm chances there as we roll into the Saturday and Sunday time frame whenever the ridge finally breaks down. Highs should be mitigated to right around, I think, the mid and upper 80s. And then we roll into the early days of next week. We keep the likely rain and storm chances intact with a cold front approaching and finally passing through here on Tuesday, solidifying those highs back down into the 80s, but more importantly, those dew points tanking by Tuesday afternoon into Wednesday, all the way back down into the 60s. And folks, that'll be welcomed by open arms by pretty much everyone across our community and beyond. Friends, it's going to wrap up your Thursday morning, Baby Friday edition of your Weather and Night Forecast, presented by On Target.